presence of God is so close and so simple, why is it often so difficult to experience the presence of God? As we talked about before, the presence of God is intrinsically linked with the present. And as you learn how to be still and present in the moment, you will start to discover the presence of God, and in that place start to understand who God really is. But there are complications, and that's why it's sometimes difficult for us to experience the presence of God. And that's because there are hindrances that stop us being still. And I have, just through my own awareness of my own life and through talking with other people, I've noticed a number of common hindrances that most people suffer with at one time or another, that actually stops them from being able to rest and be still in the presence, and therefore connect with that flow of life and peace which is already inside them. And so the first one that I wanted to talk about was denial of the present. It sounds like, what does that even mean? But it is actually, I think, quite a common problem. Denial of the present is an inability to acknowledge, recognize, and verbalize, accept and verbalize where you're currently at in life, in yourself, in anything. And I think this is a really important question. It's the question that God asked Adam and Eve in the garden when he went to connect with them after they had been filled with this shame, and this awareness of pain and evil, and they felt vulnerable. The first question God asked them was, "Where are you?" And I think that's the same question that he's asking us today. And it is almost the gateway into this communion with God, this resting in his presence, is being able to answer the question, where are you? And by that, I mean, where are you in life? What are you currently facing? Where are you in yourself? Who are you? Do you like yourself? What are you feeling? Are you acknowledging your feelings, or are you trying to just stuff them away and hope that they go away because you think that they're not very socially acceptable, or that it makes you a bad person, or any of those things? There's lots of reasons why people deny the present, and they're therefore unable to actually truly and honestly and with great awareness, self-awareness, able to answer the question, like, where am I? And it just interests me that God describes himself as I am. God lives in the present, and it's in the present that we meet with him. And actually being able to answer my I am statements, where are you? I am. So you're able to say, I am in a season of grieving. I am experiencing strong emotions. I don't like myself. I am unsure what to do. I am feeling betrayed. I am confused about what to do next. I am, and I think it's difficult for us to often answer those questions, because often there's shame in how we're feeling or where we're at. We don't like ourselves. We don't like where we're at in life. We don't like how we're feeling. And so we try and create an alternative reality for ourselves where things look better, where we look better, where we feel more socially acceptable feelings, where we are in line to reach our targets, where things haven't just gone horribly wrong. And that alternative reality is toxic and will stop you experiencing the presence of God. There is immense vulnerability in acknowledging where you're at, acknowledging the reality that you're living in, however unpleasant that is, however traumatic that is, however confusing that is, however much you don't like it, you don't want it to be your story, you don't want it to be your reality. The fact is, it is your reality. This is your story. And it's as you embrace that and embrace the moment, just be in the moment. I am here, I am feeling, I have this, I don't have this, I don't like this, I do like this, I want this. All of those statements, as you're able to explore your own self, where am I at? Who am I right now? What do I have? What am I feeling? You will start to actually be able to find the road forward in your situation with God's help. But if you're living in denial of the present, you don't want this to be your life, you don't want to be who you are, you don't want to feel how you feel, you will spend your whole life running. And that is a very unpleasant existence when you're constantly running. And so it's imperative to be able to slow down, that we stop running from reality and start embracing this is where I'm at, this is the situation that I'm living in, this is the story of my life, no matter how much I don't want it to be, it is. And in embracing that, you will start to find freedom and peace. Now, obviously, I know that there's huge amounts of, scary emotions, pain, frustration, but actually in the present, let those feelings come, because in the present, God will help you to navigate those challenges, navigate those feelings, navigate the disappointments, navigate the confusion, navigate the loneliness, all of the things that are threatening your joy and your ability to live in peace and life. But there is one thing that I did want to mention, is that, as I mentioned before, the grieving cycle, the 5 stages of the grieving cycle, the first stage is denial. And the denial stage of the grieving cycle does have a really important purpose. It's almost like a gateway, psychologically and emotionally, to allow you to only absorb the information of your current reality that you are able to deal with and process. Because if you've suffered horrific trauma and loss, there is only so much you can digest at a time without getting indigestion. You know, it's a very difficult thing that you're facing. And the denial part of the grieving process allows you to do it at your time, in your way. And nobody can rush you in that. Nobody can tell you that you need to move on, you need to face facts, you need to, live in reality, because only you know how much you can deal with and at what stage you're ready to move on, or just you'll often find that there'll just be little bits of the reality that you can start to deal with, you can start to process. And so the denial stage of the grieving process isn't the problem. That's actually just a coping mechanism, which is actually quite vitally important and healthy. What is unhealthy is denial of the fact that you're in the denial process, that you're in the denial stage of the grieving process. And that is where the denial of the present collides with this denial in the grieving process. That having the freedom and the completely shame-free, able to acknowledge, I am in the denial phase of the grieving cycle. That brings liberation and freedom, and because you're able to acknowledge, where am I? I am in denial because I have suffered a huge trauma and a huge loss, and I'm going to have to take time to process this. There is nothing wrong with that. That is a very healthy approach. And as long as you acknowledge and realize, that's where I'm at, that's how I'm feeling, this is what I can cope with, this is my reality, it doesn't hinder you from being able to experience the presence of God. And by that I mean this restful, peaceful, contented state. So you can be in the grieving cycle and still able to connect with the presence of God and experience that joy and peace. And it comes through acknowledging your present, acknowledging your reality, naming it and embracing it. This is who I am, this is how I'm feeling, and this is where I'm at. So that's the first one that I feel that I've noticed is a hindrance to being able to be still and engage with the present, and therefore the presence of God, the denial of the present. So just in your own heart and in your own mind, start to think through, are there reasons that I am not fully embracing my current state? Who I am? Do I feel like it's not enough? Do I feel shame? Do I feel like I'm letting people down? Do I feel like I'm just not good enough in whatever area? Do you feel like what you have is not enough? Do you feel like what you don't have is too painful to acknowledge? Do you feel like you have feelings that you don't know how to cope with? And as you actually allow yourself, you give yourself the freedom to be I am, you actually start echoing the great I am, who is God. And in that place, you will start to experience God and life and peace. It's a hard road and not many people do it, but I can tell you the rewards are immense as you start to connect with this source of strength that allows you to be yourself and helps you navigate these curveballs and pitfalls of life.